Hello everyone and welcome to a Doctor Who review with me, John Parker, and...
Me, Jack Hurling, and...
Me, Cody Chronotis.
Today, folks, we are reviewing the second episode of Series 10 called Smile. Now, the basic concept of this episode, or the basic plot, was that this human colony set far into the future is having a fair bit of problems with its own caretaker network, I suppose you could call it. And their own caretaker network has more or less gone rogue due to the fact that their idea of a happy world suddenly turned into something very grim. Especially when it came to the death of one of their own, or at least of one of their masters, as you can say. And with the grief that you could say plagued the others, these robots then turned against the human, well, not almost against the humans, but against the idea of being unhappy, and anything that is unhappy is classified as a virus. So their basic structure, their basic, their base code is to eliminate any kind of threat that could interfere with the development of this brand new colony. So that is where the Doctor and Bill come in to try and rectify the issue. Well, I say rectify the issue. Would you say he kind of rectified the issue in a way?
He was about to blow it up.
Until he found out that the actual ship from where the colony had kind of grew from was actually where the people were. The people had already arrived. They weren't on their way. They were already there. And it was the duty of the machines and I would say the more brilliantly minded humans who actually woke up first in order to build this new civilization for the rest of them to live happy lives.
You could say the Doctor was going to go into Terminator mode on them. But,
well, it's funny you bring up the Terminator concept there, which I'll get to in a moment. Well, that's the basic idea of the story anyway. The robots go rogue. The Doctor and Bill step in, and they inevitably, the Doctor rewrites. Well, he resets their base code. Would you say he kind of overwrit what their basic programming was? I mean, he did say.
I think all he did is he turned it on and off again, quote unquote, and also erased everything they knew about effectively all the humans that had been there. So all they knew was themselves.
Yeah,
and what they could feel. So that would be all the robots in the building, and possibly even the communicator badges on the back of them. They would have not known what they were, but they would have known they were there. So they'd have been really confused, and that's why we see the face with the question mark on it, because they have no idea what the hell's going on. Because as far as they're concerned, they've only just woken up.
So in a sense, they didn't consider the variable. I suppose you could say, speaking from like a software point of view, but. Okay, yeah, but I mean, the whole idea with the story, I mean, it's nothing. I have to say, it's nothing new. I mean, the actual plot itself, I wasn't too fond of, because what we've got here is basically a bunch of robots created by humans that then inevitably their AI, their artificial intelligence, grew by itself, and they managed to think for themselves. Now, that concept has been around in all sorts of films and TV shows for many, many years. Even though this is a Doctor Who episode, and yes, it was interesting to see the Doctor tackle that kind of threat, as I'm pretty sure many of us would have thought in the past. What if the Doctor turned up, I don't know, in the future, and the Terminator robots were there, and he's the one who inevitably shuts down Skynet and all that, you know? Obviously, we thought about that, and the concept has always been something we wanted to see, but...
Do be careful, though. Remember what the Doctor said at the end, is he realised that they weren't just robots they'd programmed to help out. They were an entirely different species. They were a living species in a robot form.
True. They did kind of twist
they
it a little bit.
They didn't really technically create a new race. They already existed. They brought them on to help.
Okay. I suppose in a way that kind of concept, the writer did actually redeem himself on that. Okay, yeah, I do agree with your point there. I suppose with that in mind, they have redeemed themselves from it, but you can't help but feel that that this story is just
It does
you've
feel
seen
a bit
something
weak.
like it.
It does feel a bit weak, like and I hate to say the word, kind of like a little bit of a filler.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like
yes.
they didn't want to do anything remotely interesting. So
Then
they
again,
thought, you could do this now.
then again, though, there is an extra point to make here, and I don't recognise the writer name.
Who was it?
It began with an F, but it was a
Frank.
long name.
Yeah, I do. I can't remember the name, but I do remember actually googling his work prior, before the series started, and from what I can remember, there's not much I can remember. There was something there, but it's nothing I've ever heard of before.
Funnily enough, I have a book written by that writer, and from what I
Really?
remember of reading the book, it's actually quite a good book. I question why the episode seemed a bit lacking.
By the way, I didn't know that in Series 10 he was going to be included in production. I didn't realise it was going to be this episode, though. But to any of you who have seen the Royal Family before, and anyone who's actually played Doctor Who Adventure games, specifically the Gunpowder Plot, you'll notice that Ralph Little made an appearance. Did you notice?
Ralph Little?
I take it you've never seen the Royal Family.
I have done, but I don't recognise half the characters because it was such a long time ago.
Well, true, yes, it was. Ralph Little, he what was his character
Which one
name in
was
the
it?
family? He played the youngest son, the one who kept getting into trouble.
Hang on, so in Doctor Who was he the boy?
No, Ralph Little, he's a fully grown man.
Wait, so
Google Ralph Little.
hold on. Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Well done. Yes, I mean, I knew he was going to be in Series 10. I didn't realise he was going to be in this episode, but of course, the funny thing about Ralph Little is that the time when he was announced to be in Series 10, actually, people speculated he was going to be the next Doctor. So, a little bit of trivia there for you all. Now, of course, Matt Lucas obviously only played a very short role in this episode specifically, but I have to say this in terms of characters, I prefer Nardole instead of Bill.
I do as well, but that's only because there's something about Nardole's character that I really am enjoying.
But that's my point now. I'd prefer to see Nardole with the Doctor.
He seems very serious now.
Yeah.
Have you noticed Nardole's character? He's coming across as very almost as if he's a caretaker. Funny enough, of the Doctor. It's like he's. I want to say he's the wife, but he's not a wife. If that makes sense. He's basically taking on a similar role to how River did. Because the way he acted in this episode, the way he looked very suspicious, what's she doing here?
They were together for a time, weren't they? River and Nardole.
Mm-hmm. So I think he's a good character. I like him.
Yeah. But now, I mean, in this episode, actually, we did see a completely different side to Bill that we haven't seen previous. Of course, we've now seen her more emotional side of the actual character.
Mm-hmm. Also, I've noticed her voice switches like that when she gets sad.
Yes, so
it's very croaky.
Which is fine, I suppose, but that sudden change is not. I mean, I didn't notice. I mean, I know you're very observant with that, but I didn't notice something like that. You're supposed to kind of just ease in rather than just switch. Because they're just kind of.
Because she was reading that book, and all of a sudden her voice went to from normal to croaking and hard to understand a little bit.
Well, I didn't feel her emotion when she started talking. I didn't feel it.
It was immediate.
Yeah, there was nothing there.
It didn't make sense.
But I don't know. I mean, it is episode 2, right?
Yeah.
We've got many more to
come.
Early days. Very early days. And also, we were teased once again, weren't we? About the vault.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, the ending,
vault.
Which, by the way,
because
continuity-wise was quite good, but yeah.
The Doctor told us a little bit more about what he's doing, didn't he?
And also the promise was brought back up again, whatever the hell that was.
I'm kind of intrigued by that. That's probably the only thing that interested me during the entire episode.
So, before we actually get into the actual verdicts, from you two in particular, Cody, what was your overall feeling of this episode? Your deepest feeling towards the storyline?
I feel like I need to hold up a little sign.
Or get like a pen and paper and just write down a great big long bullet list. or a very short one.
12 pages of how bad it really was. I didn't like it, as people may have worked out from that description.
No, that's perfectly fine. Personally, I do agree. I felt it was a bit of a weak episode, and as you both stated, it was more or less a filler. It was definitely a filler episode.
I mean, I have got something to add.
Mm-hmm.
If I hadn't known I was coming into this video, I would have turned it off.
Really?
Genuinely, first Doctor Who episode since it came back that I would have just been like, and this is rubbish, turn off.
Well, I did notice how I actually yawned. Well, no, sorry, I did yawn twice now. I did kind of drift as I was watching a little bit. It couldn't be helped. I tried not to. I was trying to stay focused as I could, but I don't know. There's just something to it.
As for me, I actually had taken a much more happier point of view towards the episode. While I do find the story
all the way through. Mm-hmm. Did you smile?
Me and Jack just want to be murdered by robots.
But
while I did find the storyline slightly weak, I did enjoy the episode as a whole because when I watch episodes of any show, really, it's not just the story I'm actually really focusing on. It's also what I can see and how they've portrayed what they're trying to, what's written. And I quite thoroughly enjoyed the scene, the setting, the scenery, the idea of the robots, the way they had to walk. I liked the way the little devices you have to, when they spin them round, the face is always on the back. I thought it was a really cool little detail. I liked how the building is made up of effectively nanites.
Yeah, they are.
I think they're big. I think they looked bigger than nanites by how black they got in the sky. But I like that idea. I like the idea of how one building can change shape very quickly, and with that like particle effect.
Yep. So
overall, the episode's little individual components, the way the Doctor spoke about the promise he was keeping. The individual emotions that Bill shown, even though some of them, like the sadness, was a bit too abrupt, and also a little bit slight tenseness feeling when the robots were about, or looked like they were about to kill them, and they had to get out of that moment. So overall, the episode for me was okay. Yes, I agree the storyline could have been a lot better, but how they executed it, it felt okay. I could deal with that, and that's why I don't feel as strongly about it like you guys do, about in a negative way. So there you go.
Okay, so with that, what would your verdict be?
My verdict?
Yep.
An okay score of 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Okay, Cody, your verdict?
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Okay. For me personally, I think I'm gonna go one step lower. I'm gonna give it a 5. You know, of all the points we've had before, I feel that this episode deserved at least a 5. It was decent in some areas, but you know, it just wasn't. So, folks, that is the end of our review for episode 2 of Series 10 of Doctor Who. Do join us again next week for episode 3 of Series 10. Until then,
quick note, guys, vote this episode yourself using the cards above. Please do.
I genuinely want people to do that because I'd love to see whether it's just us.
Yes. We'll have to get like a tally afterwards. And
I was thinking we should start giving people the statistical data that we've got on those poll cards.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
see you guys.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you folks for watching. If you enjoyed, do please leave a like or comment below on this video.
If you want more, on Jack's side is the last video and the recommended video that we've suggested to you.
To stay tuned for more, on John's right is the link to our channel so you can subscribe, and also we have a link to our website if you want more information about who we are and what we do. Until next time,
Take care, stay safe,
and remember,
let your geeks out. Bye bye, guys.